30 years of Triple J.
Do we still have a reel-to-reel player somewhere?
1989.
Hi, I'm Kim from the Pixies, and you're listening to JJJ.
Hi, I'm B. Francis from the Pixies, and you're listening to JJJ.
In 1989, one of the most important bands for Triple J were the Pixies from Boston. Their importance just cannot really be overstated. They were the front runners of indie rock. In an era of synthesized dance and crappy smooth sounds, the Pixies screamed. They played loud abrasive guitars, they wove in catchy melodies, and they pioneered the soft, loud dynamic. At the end of the 80s, just before their third release, Doolittle, and midway through a tour of Europe, they spoke to Triple J's Tim Ritchie from London.
Well, 2.5 years down the track, you've been critically acclaimed as being, the godsend of the last half a dozen years or something, the brand new sound of what rock and roll will be and all that kind of thing. Is it difficult with the critics saying all these nice things about you to have to come up with the goods? I mean, if there's no pressure, it's probably not too hard to have a new sound, but if there is people saying, oh, here's the new sound, you all of a sudden have to have that sound.
But we are that sound, so we do have that sound.
But what if someone else starts sounding like it? Do you have to change again, or is people imitating you enough acclaim still?
Oh, people can imitate us, right?
Yeah, I'd be curious to hear what it sounds like, actually.
Yeah.
Laissez-faire, when you go into a recording studio, you don't say, well, what are we going to do now? We just sort of say, we just make noise and stuff until it sounds very good, or until we think it sounds good. And I think if we start thinking about it, then, like everybody else, you get bland or whatever. Yeah, we don't think about things too much. We just want to make cool rock tunes.
Is the power of the Pixies, or part of the power of the Pixies, in that you're intriguing in some way, that things aren't black and white?
We do use basic dynamics, like play loud, play quiet, scream, sing, attention, anything to get attention, that sort of thing. What about anything to not be boring, anything not to be overly complicated.
What about the lyrics? They don't necessarily sing things like, oh, I'm in love and I'm having a really good time, I hope he or she doesn't leave me. The lyrics don't run like that.
No.
Yeah, I guess they don't. Yeah.
That was a good song, though. That was good.
I want credit.
I don't know. The words get a little vague sometimes because they all have meaning, but there's no really any topics. There's song structure and basic poetic structure. But I fill in the spaces, and in the end, you'll have meaning. If you take 100 words and randomly put them together, you'll come up with something 9 times out of 10. That's what I think.
Cease to resist, giving my goodbye. Drive my car into the ocean. You think I'm dead, but I said I waited. On the wave of mutilation,
Are you guys heavy smokers or something?
I am, and it's been a long tour. Hi, I'm Kim from the Pixies, and you're listening to JJJ.
Of the live audience, I have a Black Francis quote here, so I don't know if this is the nom de disque or the Charles speaking really, but it says, "I want to command some faith in an audience." Well, what do you do if the audience aren't interested?
I guess you just play through the end of your set so the promoter gives you your money, You just kind of go through it and, and after you get off you say, fuck those guys,
Kim, what's an eargasm?
An eargasm. Have you ever listened to a record and gotten goosebumps from the key change, You have.
Goosebumps, yeah, that's everything.
Okay, and it's something similar to that, but it's not just goosebumps. It starts in the brain.
Females can enjoy music even on a higher, different, longer, smoother level. I don't know. I just get the goosebumps and, sweat a lot.
Have you ever done
I
that
don't know. I
listening to a
suppose
record?
your orgasms, you know, you see being a female and all, it's way different than my orgasm as a male.
Here comes your man. Here comes your man. Here comes your man.
You know, everybody in the Western world today has a romantic concept, I think, of rock and roll. You know, like kids with guitars and nightclubs and jumping around and stuff.
And is this why you wanted to...
The Who breaking their guitars and everything. Everyone has a sort of... Yeah, and that's like the classic ones. I mean, you can talk about like, I don't know, like the Butthole Surfers doing really gross stuff on stage and everything. And for their particular audience, I think that's very romantic to get up and set off 1,000 firecrackers or show films of autopsies. And, you know, that's like romantic to people because it's cool and, you know...
Is that why you wanted to be in rock and roll, to be cool?
Well, not to be cool, but I mean, yeah, I guess it'd be cool, yeah, but, you know, but not to be cool, but, to make cool, you know, make cool music and feel cool and, you know, have guitars and, you know what I mean, and talk music lingo and hang out in recording studios. That is the best way to write a song.
To do what?
In the bathroom in front of a mirror. I don't know, I just do it out of habit, that's all, you know.
You spend a lot of time in the bathroom looking in the mirror.
Well, I spend a lot of time in the bathroom playing the guitar, and inevitably there's always a mirror there, so I've sort of gotten used to the mirror thing too, and actually grown to need it.
Is having a healthy ego the number one thing to be a rock and roll star?
No, you gotta have like really cool tunes. That's the number one thing. You have to make everybody really feel goosebumpy and excited to be in the place that they are, or excited about their purchase. That's what it's all about. That's it. You know what I mean? People pay a price, and you know you give them something in return. That's everything.
Music is not necessarily linked with merchandising, but when you actually, sorry, the minute anybody signs a contract, a record contract, they sell out. Actually, I mean, if we're selling out thing.
Is it a relationship of, I am the Pixies, I've shifted X number of units, therefore I've had X number of success? Is it...
I think that the time span over which they're shifted is important. If you shift 1 million units in 1 year, and then after that you're in the bargain bins, then that obviously says something about your art, if you want to call it that, or entertainment. And but if you only shift 500 units or 10,000 units over a year, but you proceed to continue to do that, you know, over a decade or something, then that says an awful lot. And that's why we're in this band, because we're fans. We're fans of rock records.
A few years later, in 1992, when the style that they'd pioneered had become mainstream, the Pixies broke up. Black Francis went solo, Kim Deal continued with her side project, The Breeders, and alternative rock was passed on to Nirvana and Radiohead.
"30 Years in 30 Days" on Triple J.